In 2019, I got into a car accident and injured my left leg severely. My ex-girlfriend was the one driving and was responsible for the accident because she was fighting with and yelling at me in the car over a minor issue. I advised her to either stop fighting or stop driving, but she was reckless and didn't care that she was risking not only my life but hers as well. I suffered for months because of my leg. I had a severe infection resulting in amputation and had to use assistant tools to move. My ex-girlfriend became distant, and my parents were my main caregivers. Her treatment towards me took a 180 turn. Suddenly I wasn't good enough for her anymore, and at some point started comparing me to other fully functional guys, claiming I wasn't the problem. It was her low self-esteem. So she was required to look for a partner with a better look, financial stability, and so on. She made my trauma all about her, and how being with a guy with one leg affected her self-esteem and image in front of everybody. She broke things off with me and our relationship was supposed to end that day, but I foolishly spent months upon months begging and convincing her that we were meant to be together. I even promised that I'd do all I can to be able to walk again and reminded her of the plans we had together, and I hated myself for it. My self-esteem was almost non-existent. I was dealing with PTSD on top of that. I messed up and resorted to medication to ease the pain. Therapy was on and off for me because I get highly agitated at the mention of my ex-girlfriend. It took time for me to be able to talk things out properly. I was so stupid, thinking she was my one and only, and it got worse when I became convinced that no one will accept me and my disability since it's the reason my relationship with my ex-girlfriend ended. My parents helped with so much. They and a few friends supported me after seeing my overall health decline. In the past 6 months, I was given the opportunity to walk again after getting a prosthetic leg. It's long overdue, but money was the main problem. I'm a lot better now, my health is getting better, my mental health improved, and I gained more self-confidence. My ex-girlfriend reached out to one of my friends wanting to talk to me about getting the prosthesis and bettering my health. My friend was like a messenger between us, but I kept her in the dark so she knew nothing more than what my friend knows. I made it clear that I have no intentions to speak to her or discuss my health with her. My friend was respectful and stopped talking to her about me. She visited my mum last week and left her number with her expecting me to call. I was stunned that she was talking to my mom. My mom told me that my ex was out of town and was low contact with everyone and couldn't check in on me despite wanting to. She said I've never left her mind and she was feeling happy and excited about my experience with my new prosthesis. Right now, she's waiting for me to call so we can get together and talk, but I don't feel comfortable with the idea. I gotta say I felt nostalgic and wanted to call her number a few times, but something prevented me from doing so. It's been a week and I didn't call her. I'm not sure if I still have feelings for her. My family says I should talk to her. After all, we've known each other for 7 years. It's clear she wants to connect, but I just don't think this is what I want. How should I deal with this pressure? Don't do it. If she can leave you in your time of need once, she will absolutely do it again. You owe her nothing. The people pressuring you to have a relationship with her are free to form their own connection with her, but that's not your responsibility. Unless she wants to financially compensate you for all the physical, mental, and financial suffering she caused, I tell her to buzz off. OP, you lost your leg, not your dignity. She showed you who she was the first time. Believe her. You deserve better. I mean, imagine if you get married, would she even be able to say the words "in sickness and in health" with a straight face? I mean, she effectively decided that real men have both legs and wouldn't blame her for making them disabled, even when it's her fault. She sounds toxic, immature, and would drop you whenever things get tough, or a better choice comes along. Exactly. I mean, I've used the term fair weather friends many times, but this just takes the concept to heights I didn't know were achievable. Or should that be depths? She indeed sunk lower than most people ever come close to doing. I also sincerely hope OP didn't let his feelings get in the way of suing her insurance to cover his medical costs and lost earnings. The accident wasn't his fault, and he should not be liable for any expenses or losses he's incurred as a result. I feel like this is being heavily glossed over. It's obvious she only wants to get back with you now that you're healed up, but why on earth would you want to date someone who has shown they will actively and purposely put your life in danger? You said you still have feelings for her, but have some self-respect. No self-respecting person would ever date someone who can't see past their own anger and consequently endanger lives, especially those they love. All of that aside, I'll echo what the rest of the comments are saying. Why would you want to be with someone who abandons you at your lowest for superficial, shallow reasons? Don't contact her unless it's during the process of a lawsuit. She's shown you her true colors. When the going gets tough, she's gone. You dodged a bullet with this one. Don't step back into the line of fire. I feel like this is the stupidest drama, but I'm getting some cold treatment from my girlfriend over this, so I thought I'd get some other people's opinions on the matter. I recently got my first job out of college, and I received a competitive offer. When my dad's birthday came, I got him a new MacBook Pro because I knew he was looking for a new laptop. He supported me through college and provided me abundant opportunities to succeed, so I wanted to spoil him a bit. This was out of the ordinary for me. I'm usually a frugal person and save most of my money for early retirement. I don't like to splurge. My girlfriend is a graphic designer and talked about how she wanted a personal iPad to draw on. After her birthday was over, she spoke about how she was kind of disappointed with my gift and thought maybe I would surprise her with an iPad or something. We've been dating for 3 years. I met her in college. I spent about $50 on her gift, a nice phone case and some other things I personally picked out. I guess she expected me to start giving her expensive presents now that I have a high-paying job, but I told her that I'm a frugal person and that wasn't going to change. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Geez, imagine being so entitled that you tell someone that their gift is disappointing. Your girlfriend is entitled and she needs to learn that she's not the focal point of everybody else's lives. You did something special for your dad. It's not like you plan to spend that kind of money on him every birthday. Giving you the cold treatment is immature. If you give in to this, expect it to happen every time she doesn't get her way. LOL, not the idiot. Your parents financially and emotionally supported you your whole life. It's so generous of you to give your dad that MacBook Pro. Your girlfriend is not entitled to your money or how you spend it. Since she has a job, she can spend $100 plus out of each paycheck, and after 3 or 4 months, she can afford an iPad. What would have been more reasonable is if she'd asked you to contribute 1/3 of the money so she could pay for the rest. I think a more extensive conversation is needed about your girlfriend's expectations because it's concerning. By the way, this is coming from a girl who makes significantly more than her boyfriend. I'm generous with gifts. His birthday gift last year was about $150. But if my boyfriend expected an iPad, I tell him bluntly that he's out of line. Not the idiot, but I'd be disappointed by a phone case too. That's a crap birthday present. You should have spent $50 on earrings instead of something utilitarian like a phone case. You're not frugal if you spend $50 on a phone case, plus crap, by the way. A good phone case begins at around $50. Not the idiot. Your dad is your dad. He fed, clothed you and brought you up, assuming you have a good relationship based on what you've said. Yes, she's your girlfriend, and yes, maybe after 3 years together, and now in a better job, she might expect more than $50 on a gift, but that isn't your problem, it's hers. She can't be mad at you for not getting her something that she didn't directly tell you she wants you to get her. What does she get you for your birthday? Graphic design is a good enough paying job, not that you should expect the same, but if she wants to give you the cold treatment, then consider her efforts towards you. My sister, 30 female, recently had a baby. Early in her pregnancy, she learned of complications, and it terrified her. Not least of all because our mom died shortly after giving birth to me, and it's always seemed like the labour was at least partly to blame. When my sister started to deteriorate, she talked to her husband and me and said she didn't want our stepmother there when she gave birth or while she was recovering, and asked me not to tell them when she went into labour. Her reason was she didn't want to be reminded of what could happen if she died, that her son's stepmother could be like ours was, someone so insecure and paranoid about the fact we didn't want to stop talking or hearing about her that she emotionally tried to suffocate us and beg for the role of mom from us. It was a real minefield growing up, and she was worse with me because I was so young when she entered my life. I was a toddler, and she really wanted to be my mom, but the way she reacted to stuff is why I never saw her in that light. For instance, when my sister and I were singing happy birthday to our mom up in heaven, because as kids we believed that, and she started crying about how it was so mean to do that to her and all this stuff. Our dad never cared. He saw it as her wanting to be there and love us, and none of this was bad. I was 5 during that incident. When I was 10, she broke down sobbing because I wanted to spend the summer with my maternal grandparents. So even though we both know my sister's husband would never let her be forgotten, she was still terrified, and so I did what she asked, and the labour did almost kill her. It was touch and go for a bit, but she pulled through, and then I called our father. The fallout from it has been huge, and I'm being blamed. My dad told me I should have defied my sister's wishes so they could say goodbye to their daughter if anything had happened, and even with my sister saying it was her wishes, he called me an idiot and told me I had hurt my mother. I told him my mother wasn't alive to be hurt, which started another fight. But even some extended family have been saying I should have disregarded my sister's wishes. Am I the idiot? This one is easy. Not the idiot. You cannot reveal someone's private medical information without their permission, with very few exceptions. The only exception I could think of is that they are putting others in danger without their knowledge, like if they have an infectious disease but aren't telling the people exposed to the disease. Since that isn't the case here, you have no right to reveal her private medical information to anyone. You did the right thing. Also, the only ethical choice. Not the idiot. Your sister made her wishes clear and you abided by them. That information wasn't yours to share. You acted completely appropriately, and if your dad doesn't understand why your sister didn't want the stepmom in the delivery room, someone should explain it to him. You're a good sister. OP doesn't state their age, but I get the impression that Dad has had at least 2 decades to figure out why his daughter wouldn't want his wife in the delivery room, and he either doesn't get it or doesn't want to get it. At this point, it might be better to just limit contact with the two of them. Stepmom being so jealous of a dead woman that she managed to turn a kid who was 3 when she came into their life against her is telling of how bad she must have been. Your stepmom sounds like a piece of work. The easiest way for a step-parent to totally alienate their stepchildren is to try to completely erase the parent whose role they're stepping into. It's a selfish, idiot move of her dad to either ignore the issue or actively encourage the unwanted relationship. I was following sister's wishes is a complete sentence. If they have an issue with those directives, they can ask your sister about them after the recovery period. Not the idiot. Even reminding your dad that your mom is not his current wife doesn't make you the idiot. Also, technically sharing that info would be an HIPAA violation. I never have and would never cheat. My guilty conscience is far too high and I don't like anyone enough to deal with all of that. That being said, my husband of 10 years, been together 14, thought I'd been cheating on him. He confronted me a few times, a little too aggressively for my taste, and I thought we were moving past it. I thought I'd explained everything pretty well and he was acting normal. Then we got a random package in the mail for him. I didn't open it, but we had no scheduled deliveries from Amazon and we share an account, so I thought that was weird. Suddenly there was a smoke alarm just above the toilet in the bathroom, and I mentioned it to him and he said yeah and just shrugged it off, acting as normal as usual. I thought it was weird but went about my business. Well, me not being an idiot, I did a little digging and found out it's a hidden camera disguised as a smoke alarm. I'm sickened and disgusted. I confronted him and he says he had to know if I was cheating and thought this was the way. He said it's not like it's anything he hasn't seen and he wasn't doing it for intimate gratification and there are only a few recordings. Like that's supposed to make me feel better. It does not. He says he knows it's wrong, but he loves and cares so much that he did this crazy thing and will never do it again. To me, it sounds like nonsense. That's not love and that's not what you do when you care. So now I'm at a crossroads. He wants to fix things, but the only thing that would fix it is turning back time. I'm so grossed out and he wants me to basically move past it, but it's an actual criminal act I would have to hold on my shoulders forever. He wants me to just move past it, which would mean I would need to be okay with it, which I am not. I feel my conscience weighing because this will break up my family. We have a daughter, and this life we built for 14 years. But I cannot come to terms to be okay with these actions. It took away my privacy, my basic human rights, and he's basically saying I deserved it because I made him think I was cheating. Without actually saying it, but it's obvious. My husband began suspecting me of cheating when he decided to go through an email I've had since middle school. I don't know what prompted this other than being nosy, and found an old unsent letter to an ex from high school. I'm 35 now, so a very long time ago, and we broke up a year before I met him. From that, it seems to have planted the seed and he started spiraling. He knew all passwords to everything. started logging into my Facebook and reading all my conversations, taking whatever he could out of context with whatever conversation he found, confronting me. I showed him my phone, texts, photos. He confronted me another time, saying I must be sending things on Snapchat because it disappears, but I don't even use Snapchat for more than fun filters with my daughter. Then got upset he wasn't in enough Facebook photos, which is dumb because he works a lot, so he's not always in what I post because he's physically not there. From that, it escalated into putting a secret camera in my bathroom to see if I'm taking and sending pictures or something. I'm a long-term relationship type of person. I didn't get married to get divorced. No one should be okay with sweeping something like this under the rug because their SO says to. I'm just trying to get on the right path for my daughter and me because I know staying is saying I'm okay with being filmed secretly just because you said you were sorry. I know that's not okay. Any advice or making me feel less crazy would be helpful. I dated a guy like this. I never had to deal with the whole camera situation, but I couldn't even go to the grocery without him questioning me. If I was there longer than he thought I should be, he would aggressively accuse me of cheating, and I can assure you there was never anything that happened to prompt that behavior from him or suspicion. It was awful. It got to the point that he made up a fake story about some girl messaging him, saying I was talking to her boyfriend. I, of course, messaged the girl to settle things, and she didn't even know my boyfriend, let alone did she even message him. I confronted him and he admitted to making the whole thing up. He saw her boyfriend was on my friends list and had liked a status I shared, was a meme, and he thought that was the way to catch me being shady. It will never get better, it will only get worse. You need to cut your losses and leave. A life alone is better lived than a life lived under a microscope. Any chance he's projecting and he's the one cheating? I know projection is a major thing, and people have caught others cheating by assuming it was projection. But going to the level of buying a camera? That screams massive insecurity to me more than projection. Jealousy is not love. He's jealous, insecure, accusatory, sneaky, doesn't trust you and disrespects you. I feel like you're constantly going to have to prove your fidelity since he's already decided you're guilty. I've been there and it's a terrible way to live. I'll never allow anyone to do that to me again. Wish you luck. He needs therapy. You asked if anyone had been through this. I have, a now ex-husband who put key swiping software on my computer. I felt completely violated and divorced him, but not before I had to run out of my own home to save my life. Be careful and get out ASAP. Anyone acting this insane can be very volatile and dangerous. This is literally the setup for spousal abuse and violence.